You know what drives me absolutely crazy? Watching people drain their bank accounts on expensive coding boot camps and flashy certifications, chasing after sexy tech jobs that everyone and their grandmother is competing for, while completely ignoring the fact that there are boring, unglamorous remote jobs out there, paying $60,000, $80,000, even $100,000 per year that literally nobody wants to talk about.
It's like everyone's fighting over the same slice of pizza,
while there's an entire untouched pepperoni pie sitting right next to them. My name is John, and I spend way too much time researching remote work opportunities, analyzing job market trends, and wondering why most people would rather be unemployed than do work that sounds boring, even if it pays incredibly well. But while everyone else is chasing cloud and cool job titles, the people doing this boring work are quietly building wealth, working in their pajamas and never sitting in traffic again. These aren't glamorous positions. They're not going to make you feel like a tech disruptor or a creative genius. But they will pay your bills, fund your retirement, and give you the freedom to actually enjoy your life. Today, I'm going to walk you through 7 boring but high-paying remote jobs that are always hiring in 2026. And I guarantee some of these are going to surprise you, especially the ones that require almost no formal education but can easily pay 6 figures once you get some experience under your belt. But before we dive into the specific jobs, let me tell you why chasing exciting careers is often the worst financial decision you can make. Imagine spending $15,000 on a coding bootcamp, but competing against thousands of other graduates for entry-level positions, only to discover that companies want people with 3 years of experience for jobs that pay $50,000. Meanwhile, someone who took a 2-month online course in medical billing is making $65,000 from their couch, working 35 hours a week, with companies literally begging them to accept job offers. The boring route doesn't sound so bad now, does it?
The opportunity cost of chasing trendy careers is massive.
Every month you spend learning skills that 10,000 other people are also learning is a month where you could have been earning actual money in a field with less competition. Every dollar you spend on expensive certifications that everyone competes is a dollar you could have invested in learning skills that almost nobody wants to develop because they're not sexy enough for Instagram. Before we get into the specific jobs, let me give you the framework for why these positions pay so well, despite being boring. It's simple economics. When everyone wants to do something, wages go down. When nobody wants to do something, but it still needs to get done, wages go up. These jobs exist in that sweet spot where the work is important, companies are willing to pay well for it, but not enough people are willing to do it because it doesn't feed their ego. Let's start with number 1, insurance claims adjuster. Now, I know what you're thinking. Insurance? That sounds about as exciting as watching paint dry in slow motion. But hear me out, because the numbers on this one are absolutely ridiculous. Insurance claims adjusters investigate insurance claims, determine how much the insurance company should pay, and negotiate settlement. It's paperwork, it's phone calls, it's reviewing documents and photos. Is it thrilling? Absolutely not. Will it change the world? Probably not. But will it pay you $55,000 to $75,000 per year to work from your home office? Absolutely yes. Here's what makes this job incredible. Most insurance companies are desperately hiring remote adjusters because they've realized they don't need people in expensive office buildings to do this work. The training is usually provided by the employer, which means you're getting paid to learn. And once you have a few years of experience, you can easily move into senior adjuster roles that pay $80,000 to $100,000 or more. The barrier to entry is surprisingly low. Most companies want a bachelor's degree in anything, not even a specific field. Some will hire you with just an associate's degree or even relevant work experience. You need to get licensed in your state, which usually involves taking a course and passing an exam, but many companies will pay for this training. And the best part? Insurance claims don't stop happening. Whether the economy is booming or crashing, people are filing insurance claims. Job security in this field is absolutely solid. The work itself is exactly as boring as it sounds. You'll spend your days reviewing accident reports, talking to policyholders, examining damage photos, and writing up reports. Nobody's going to make a Netflix series about your exciting career as an insurance claims adjuster. But while everyone else is unemployed because they're holding out for their dream job, you'll be working in your sweatpants, making more money than most people with fancy job titles. Financial analyst. Now, before you skip this one thinking you need to be a math genius or have a finance degree, let me stop you right there. Financial analyst positions come in all shapes and sizes, and many of them are way more accessible than you think. Yes, some financial analyst jobs require advanced degrees and pay $150,000 plus. But there are tons of entry-level and mid-level financial analyst positions at regular companies. that pay $60,000 to $90,000 and just need someone who's good with Excel and can analyze data without falling asleep. Here's what financial analysts actually do in most companies. They create reports, analyze financial data, build forecasts, track budgets, and help management make decisions. It's spreadsheets, it's PowerPoint presentations, it's a whole lot of sitting at your computer making sure numbers add up correctly. Sounds boring. That's because it is. But it's also incredibly valuable to companies, which is why they're willing to pay well for it and let you do it remotely. The beautiful thing about financial analyst roles is that every industry needs them. Retail companies, healthcare organizations, tech startups, manufacturing firms. Literally every business that has money coming in and going out needs people to analyze that financial data. This creates massive demand and tons of job opportunities. And because so much of the work is done on computers anyway, companies have figured out that financial analysts can be just as productive working remotely. The path to becoming a financial analyst is more flexible than you might think. Sure, a finance or accounting degree helps. But plenty of people get into these roles with degrees in economics, business administration, or even unrelated fields, if they can demonstrate analytical skills.
What matters more than your degree is your ability to work with Excel, understand financial concepts, and communicate your findings clearly.
There are tons of online courses and certifications you can get to build these skills without going back to school for 4 years. Once you're in a financial analyst role, the career progression is solid. You start as a junior analyst, move up to senior analyst, then potentially to finance manager or director positions that can pay well into 6 figures. And the entire time you're sitting at home attending Zoom meetings in your nice shirt with pajama pants and pretending to be interested in quarterly budget reviews. Number 3, technical writer. This is probably the most slept-on remote job on this entire list. Technical writers create documentation, user guides, instruction manuals, and help content for products and services. They take complex technical information and make it understandable for what matters. It's not creative writing where you're crafting the next great American novel. It's writing that explains how software works, how to use medical devices, or how to implement business processes. And it pays shockingly well. Entry-level technical writers typically make $55,000 to $70,000. Experienced technical writers easily make $80,000 to $100,000. Senior technical writers at tech companies can make $120,000 or more. And it's almost always fully remote because the entire job is creating digital documentation. Here's why this job is absolutely perfect for remote work and why companies are always hiring. Every software company, every tech company, every company that makes any kind of product needs documentation. But most engineers and developers hate writing documentation. They'd rather be coding or building things, not explaining how their stuff works. This creates massive demand for people who can bridge the gap between technical teams and end users. The barrier to entry for technical writing is lower than most people realize. You don't need a specific degree, though English, communications, or technical backgrounds help. What you really need is the ability to write clearly, understand technical concepts well enough to explain them, and be extremely detail-oriented. If you can take something complicated and break it down into simple steps that your grandmother could follow, you've got the core skill that technical writers need. The work itself is exactly as boring as it's. But you'll spend your days interviewing engineers about how features work, writing step-by-step instructions, creating diagrams and screenshots, and updating documentation when products change. You won't be writing anything that's going to win literary awards. But you also won't be stressed about your job security, because as long as companies make products, they'll need people to explain how those products work. Number 4, data entry specialist and data analyst roles. Now, I know data entry has a reputation for being mind-numbingly boring and low-paying. And look, basic data entry jobs do exist that pay $15 an hour and involve typing numbers into spreadsheets all day. But I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about specialized data entry and data analysts you'll spend that pay $45,000 to $75,000 per year and are always in demand. These are roles where you're working with specialized databases, healthcare records, legal documents, financial data, or other types of information that requires accuracy, attention to detail, and sometimes specific knowledge. Medical data entry specialists who work with electronic health records can easily make $50,000 to $60,000. Legal data specialists who work with case management systems make similar amounts. Financial data analysts who reconcile transactions and ensure data accuracy make $55,000 to $70,000. Here's what makes these roles perfect for remote work. The entire job is done on a computer. You're not manufacturing anything, you're not meeting with clients in person. You're just processing data and ensuring it's accurate and properly organized. Companies have figured out that they can hire remote data specialists and get the same quality of work without paying for office that pay. The barrier to entry varies depending on the specialization. Some healthcare data entry roles want people with medical terminology knowledge or coding certification, which you can get through relatively short online courses. Legal data specialists might need familiarity with legal procedures or terminology. But many of these roles will train the right person, especially if you can demonstrate strong attention to detail and computer skills. Is the work exciting? Absolutely not. You'll spend your days entering information into databases, verifying data accuracy, running reports, and making sure everything is properly categorized and stored. You'll probably listen to a lot of podcasts or audiobooks while you work, because the actual tasks don't require intense mental engagement. But you'll also have steady employment, decent pay, and the flexibility to work from literally anywhere with an internet. The barrier. Number 5, quality assurance tester. This is one of those jobs where everyone assumes you need to be highly technical, but the reality is way different. QA testers check software, websites, and applications to find bugs and ensure everything works correctly. Some QA roles do require coding knowledge and technical expertise, and those can pay very well. But there are tons of manual QA testing positions that just need people who are detail-oriented and good at following procedures. Entry-level QA testers typically make $45,000 to $60,000. Experienced QA testers make $65,000 to $85,000. Senior QA engineers or automation specialists can easily make $100,000 plus. And the overwhelming majority of these positions are fully remote, because you're just testing software that exists in the cloud anyway. Here's what makes QA testing such a solid remote career. Every software company, every tech company, every business that has apps or websites needs QA testers. You literally cannot release software without testing it first, unless you want angry customers and destroyed reputation. This creates constant demand for QA professionals at all levels. The path into QA testing is more accessible than most people think. Yes, having some technical background helps, but many companies will hire motivated people with no tech experience and train them in QA processes. What they really need is people who are extremely detail-oriented, can follow test procedures precisely, and are good at documenting issues clearly. If you're the kind of person who notices when things are slightly off or not working correctly, you might be perfect for QA testing. The work itself involves exactly what it sounds like. You'll spend your days following test scripts, clicking through software to see if things work as expected, trying to break features in creative ways, and documenting every bug you find. Is it repetitive? Absolutely. Will you spend hours testing the same features over and over after developers fix issues? You bet. But you'll also be working from home, making solid money, and have a skill set that's in constant demand across virtually every industry. Number 6, Customer Success Manager. Now, this one might sound like a fancy title for customer service, but it's actually quite different and pays significantly better. Customer Success Managers work with existing customers to ensure they're getting value from a product or service, help them solve problems, and try to prevent them from canceling. It's part customer service, part account management, part problem solving. And it pays well. Entry-level customer success positions typically start at $50,000 to $65,000. Experienced customer success managers make $70,000 to $95,000. Senior CSMs or team leads can make $100,000 plus. And many of these positions include bonuses or commission structures based on customer retention. Here's why customer success is such a huge field right now, especially for remote work. Every subscription-based business, every SaaS company, every business that depends on recurring revenue needs customer success teams. It's way more expensive to acquire new customers than to keep existing ones. So companies are willing to pay well for people who can keep customers happy and prevent them from leaving. The beautiful thing about customer success roles is that they're incredibly remote-friendly. Most of your interaction with customers is through email, video calls, and chat anyway. You're not meeting people in person, you're helping them via digital channels. This makes it perfect for remote work, and companies have enthusiastically embraced hiring remote customer success teams. The barrier to entry for customer success is pretty low compared to the pay. Most companies want someone with customer service experience and good communication skills. A bachelor's degree helps, but isn't always required. What really matters is your ability to understand customer problems, communicate solutions clearly, and build relationships. If you're empathetic, organized, and good at problem solving, you can succeed in customer success. The work itself involves managing a portfolio of customer accounts, checking in with them regularly, helping them solve problems when they arise, educating them about features they're not using, and generally ensuring they're happy with the product or service. Is it boring? Sometimes, you'll have a lot of repetitive conversations, you'll answer the same questions multiple times, and you'll spend a lot of time in video meetings. But you'll also be helping people, building actual relationships, and making good money while working from your couch. Number 7. Project coordinator or project manager. This is another one of those roles that exists in virtually every industry, which means constant job availability and solid pay. Project coordinators and project managers keep projects organized, ensure deadlines are met, coordinate between different teams, and generally make sure things don't fall apart. Entry-level project coordinator positions typically pay $45,000 to $60,000. Project managers make $65,000 to $95,000. Senior project managers or program managers can easily make $100,000 to $130,000 or more. And an enormous percentage of these roles have gone fully remote because so much of project management is done through digital tools anyway. Here's what makes project management such a solid remote career path. Every company has projects. Software development projects, marketing campaigns, product launches, process improvements, literally everything in business involves projects that need to be managed. This creates massive demand across every industry you can imagine. The path into project management is interesting because it's one of those fields where you can start as a coordinator with relatively little experience and work your way up. Many project coordinators start with just a bachelor's degree in any field and organizational skills. As you gain experience, you can get PMP certification or other project management credentials that significantly boost your earning potential. The work involves creating project plans, tracking tasks and deadlines, running meetings, updating stakeholders, managing budgets, identifying risks, and generally keeping everyone on the same page. Is it exciting? Not particularly. You'll spend a lot of time updating spreadsheets, attending status meetings, sending reminder emails, and creating PowerPoint presentations about project progress. But you'll also be at the center of important initiatives. You'll develop valuable skills that transfer across industries, and you'll make solid money while working remotely. Here's something that might surprise you about all 7 of these jobs. Most people never even consider them because they're too busy chasing careers that sound impressive or sexy. They want to be content creators, influencers, startup founders, or work at cool tech companies with ping pong tables and free snacks. Meanwhile, these boring jobs sit there with good pay, stable employment, full benefits, and companies desperate to hire people. The beautiful thing about boring remote jobs is that they offer something that exciting careers often don't: predictability and stability. You know what you're going to do each day, you know what your paycheck will be. You know that your skills will still be valuable next year and the year after that. While everyone else is dealing with the chaos of trendy industries and unstable startups, you're quietly building wealth and security. Another advantage that people completely overlook is work-life balance. Boring jobs typically have normal working hours. You're not expected to work 80 hours a week or be passionate about insurance claims or data entry. You do your work, you do it well, and then you log off and live your actual life. Compare that to exciting careers, where you're expected to eat, sleep, and breathe your job while making half as much money. The career progression in these boring fields is also more straightforward than in sexy industries. In trendy tech jobs, you're competing against thousands of ambitious people for limited senior positions. In boring industries, if you're competent and reliable, you'll naturally move up because there's less competition. You can go from entry-level to senior roles to management positions without playing intense political games or networking constantly. Here's my challenge to you. Stop letting ego drive your career decisions. Stop choosing jobs based on what sounds cool when you describe it at parties. Start choosing based on what actually pays well, offers stability, and allows you to build the life you want outside of work. Your job doesn't have to be your identity. It can just be the thing that funds the life you actually want to live. If you're sitting there unemployed or underemployed because you're holding out for some exciting opportunity, maybe it's time to consider that the boring path might actually be the smart path. While everyone else is fighting over the same trendy positions, you could be making $70,000 from your home office doing work that nobody wants to talk about, but everyone needs done. So there you have it. 7 boring but high-paying remote jobs that are always hiring in 2026. Insurance claims adjuster, financial analyst, technical writer, data specialist, quality assurance tester, customer success manager, and project coordinator. None of them will make you famous. None of them will impress strangers on the internet. But all of them will pay your bills, fund your life, and let you work in your pajamas while everyone else is stuck in traffic commuting to jobs that pay less. Your future self, sitting in your home office with a healthy bank account and no commute, will thank you for choosing boring and practical over exciting and unstable.